Hi guys, this is FG for Sage5.tv once more back with another video, and today we are going to look at crypto regulations. We all keep getting told that regulations are required for the crypto industry in order to protect the masses, who by the way actually chose how to spend their money in investing in crypto assets. Fair enough, let's discuss it. Maybe we need protecting, but who is going to regulate them? I mean those who are going to create or make the regulation. Today, 10th of June 2022, this is a story that has been carried by the Financial Times in the UK. The headline reads, Sunak lost 11 billion of taxpayers' cash in debt blunder, says the economists. This headline is referring to the UK Chancellor of the Exchequer, the equivalent of the US Secretary of Treasury. More on that later. Let's look at some of the reasons we are told we need regulations and others why we need regulations for ourselves. Because I do believe we need regulation, but probably not as some are suggesting. The proliferation of digital assets or crypto assets has led to loud cries and repeated calls for financial regulations to be imposed on this nascent industry. To date, such regulations are being dressed up as a requirement to protect investors and to deal with money laundering, curtailing the funding of terrorism, as well as prevent wider financial instability. All of which makes sense, but there is always a but to these things. With a heading carried out in the Financial Times today, 10th of June 2022, there are bigger fish to fry. Who is going to protect those who have not chosen to flush away billions in financial mismanagement at the higher echelons of responsibility at government level? Let's not forget the sheer waste that transpired during the pandemic when billions filled the pockets of certain individuals with political connections, while the real manufacturers were shut out of various procurement processes or activities. I digress, this is a topic for another day. Let's take a look at some of the claims one by one. Claims why we need regulation. Investor protection. This is a well-placed concern based on various data supporting the argument that in most cases, crypto investors receive a raw deal from project creators and project teams. There have been so many rug pulls to count and numerous other exploits of note which led to investors losing millions, and in some cases billions. Some incidents like the Terra Luna fiasco, that was not seen as a rug pull or a direct exploit at the time, but as new information and data come up, it is getting more clearer now that people like Dokwan deserve jail time at the very least, so they do tarnish the image of the blockchain and cryptocurrencies. It is also mouth-watering to note that in the first 3 months of this year, hackers have already made away with almost 2 billion in investor funds. Almost 97% of that 2 billion has been through DeFi protocols, and according to Chain Analysis, a blockchain data platform, this will get worse. And this graph does not do DeFi any good with data, now showing that hackers seem to prefer to attack DeFi protocols more than exchanges and private individuals combined. This is because code exploits are an increasingly common vector to attack. In addition, the percentage of stolen by attack type also points to both code exploits and security breaches. That alone, ladies and gents, is enough for us to demand that something is done about it. This should be us clamoring for some regulation to deal with things like that. Now, some people among us will start criticizing the investors for investing in shitcoins. I see you Bitcoin maxis out there. Some of you are already, raising voices and stuff. Or for not taking security of keys seriously. Neither of these should deny the fact that we need a rulebook. Some of the key areas we need to look at within the crypto industries are things like mixer or crypto services in those jurisdictions considered high-risk areas. These are places like your North Korea, Iran, some Western tax havens like the Virgin Islands and so forth. Those need to be looked at. We need rulebooks around that. This is because a large proportion of stolen funds are funneled via these spaces, and there's little that can be done at the moment unless there are some powerful players that are involved with some serious financial firepower to finance the retrieval process in most cases. But in most cases, it is goodbye investment because most people who get hacked, they are small players. But some centralized exchanges have been making amends, refunding investors, and then carrying out their own investigations and tracking their own funds. Now, top 10 crypto thefts between 2021 and Q1 2022. The top 10 are as follows. The Ronin hack, the Poly Network hack, the Wemo hack, Bitmart hack, BadgerDAO hack, and then you got also undisclosed. Then you got the Venus hack, BXH hack, Cream Finance hack, and the Vulcan Forge hack. Some of the top 10 largest hacks have targeted DeFi platforms over the past 15 months, seeing an eye-watering 1.6 billion lost during that period. Crypto exchange exploits follow closely behind with over 960 million lost during the same period. Of the top 10, the Ronin hack led to a loss of 615 million, which was in one hack. The Poly network led to a loss of 613 million. And then you got the Wemo hack that led to a loss of 322 million. And ladies and gents, this is just the top 3. Then you have the top 10, and then it keeps going. Okay, still multiple millions stolen. These are no small sums by any measure. In most cases, it is your average investor who cannot afford the bulletproof security required to keep one's crypto assets safe that suffers the most. Based on the few examples we covered, this is one area we should be championing to be regulated and not wait for individuals with limited knowledge of the space to come and impose their version of what's good for us, the participants. There are also other claims around the funding of terrorism. According to the US security and intelligence communities, the funding of terrorism organizations requires the movement of funds from the center of controlling structures to the less wealth parts of such organizations, and this then requires permissionless systems to move such funding around. Legal frameworks of one sort or another are required to strengthen protections against such activities, and this is something anyone wishing to live in a safe and peaceful world should champion for. In Europe, there are concerns around the transfer of illicit proceeds being moved around from one geographical location to another at speed with little or no detection. This is exemplified by an extract from a regulatory proposal by the European Parliament or authorities, and it reads as follows. Criminals are able to carry out illicit transfers and avoid detection by structuring a large transaction into smaller amounts, using multiple seemingly unrelated wallet addresses, including one-time use wallet addresses, associating those wallet addresses to real identity of a natural or legal person, or detecting linked transfers for the purpose of applying a de minimis threshold is more challenging as compared to conventional transfer of funds. Most crypto assets are also highly volatile, and their value can fluctuate significantly within a very short period of time. Such volatility could complicate the implementation and the enforcement. That concludes the extract from the European Parliament proposal. Well, while I wholly acknowledge their sentiments, I also believe that the very same weaknesses they've identified could also be argued to be strengths when one legally wants to transfer funds from one jurisdiction to another quickly and cheaply with little time delays. There are stories where people have lost out on business deals or transactions because funds were lost or got delayed somewhere within a system. The traditional financial system, that is, not crypto but traditional finance. In fact, I do believe that when such incidents occur, it can be difficult to identify where the funds are, which is scary up until they turn up, which they eventually do in some cases. In other cases, investigation just run for a long time, never ending, inconveniencing the people who made those transactions. There are a number of examples as to why crypto regulation is required, such as market manipulation by Bitcoin whales. However, if traditional financial markets are anything to go by, these regulations may not completely shut out market manipulation, as this is a feature that is still prevalent even in the traditional markets themselves. There are numerous reasons why regulations are needed within the crypto space, but such regulations must enable, enhance, and improve the space, not restrict or hinder it, thereby leaving it at a disadvantage. Just like they are old enough to vote in elections and put some of these rule makers in power, crypto investors are just as good at making decisions about their investment with little to no interference from the power brokers and or rule makers. What do you guys think? Do you think regulations will improve the cryptocurrency space? And if so, how? Which regulations would you prefer and which areas should they focus on? Comments down below, let us know. But on to my final question, which I started with. Who is going to regulate those rule makers if they are misbehaving? We know there are corrupt officials who manipulate the market or threaten to make certain decisions while they are investing when stocks are low. And before we round this session to a close, if you come across a newspaper headline like the one from the Financial Times in the UK today, the 10th of June 2022, what will be your first reaction? While one individual will make a decision for a whole group of people, where is the accountability when such calamitous decisions are made? What regulations are being put in place to protect the masses in those cases, when those controlling the purse strings show such sheer arrogance and demonstrable carelessness that the whole country is made to suffer? We're all going to pay for it one or another. We're living in an era of skyrocketing cost of living. We don't need additional harm at the moment. We've got enough to deal with. Now, if you ask me, that is where regulations should start, simply because the risk is higher and it is affecting the wider population, not by choice. In crypto, we are making the choice to invest, and the risk is at an individual level. But those who make miscalculations at government level, it's affecting even those who are vulnerable, who no choice of their own. I think that's where they should start to address, put regulation there. Throw people in jail if you must. There must be some accountability. We all keep getting told that regulations are required for the crypto industry in order to protect the masses, who, by the way, actually chose how to spend their money investing in crypto assets. Fair enough, let's discuss that. Maybe we need protecting, but who is going to regulate those who are passing those regulations? Your comments down below, guys. Let us know what you think. Fire away. Until next time, guys, this is FD for Sage5.tv signing out. Bye for now.